Welcome aboard with Video Games, a gaming podcast that strives for the right balance of coverage for games you play on your table and on your television. We're a proud member of the PSVG Podcast Network and thrilled to be part of the Dice Tower Network as well. I am one of your hosts, Kyle Hyman, and joining me on this co-op adventure, the guy who is impervious to fear, Josh Borboni. How are you doing this fine evening?
Oh, I'm the opposite of that. I am not impervious to fear, but I'm doing okay. Other than having a cold, I have a annoying cold, which could be allergies, but I don't think it is. So it's unpleasant.
That's unfortunate. It is that time of year, I suppose.
Yeah. How about you? How are you doing?
You know, all things considered, I am okay. Our weather here has been reasonable, so I'll take that. It's finally starting to cool off. Finally, it kind of feels like fall, though it was in the low 60s or mid 60s today.
Yeah.
Um, but we've had we had one day that the high was in the 40s. We're getting down there. We're starting to cool off a little bit. We're supposed to dip back into the 50s again this week, so feeling a little bit like fall, spooky season. Halloween's less than a week away, which is wild to think at this point.
Crazy.
I don't know where the month of October went. But yeah, it's been a very work has been really busy this month, which means the month
Yeah.
went really fast. And I feel like that's always true, is that whenever work, I feel I'm not like super stressed. Like it's been stressful, but not bad stress. Just like, oh gosh, I have all these things to do. But it definitely, I feel like, makes time go very, very quickly. So this month has absolutely flown by.
Agreed. Relatively speaking.
So you all did Decade of Horror, yeah?
Yeah, we did. Yep.
What other spooky movies have you been watching this month, or any spooky movies you've been watching this month, or any things you would, I know we'll do some recommendations at the end of the show, but anything that we should be keeping an eye on here as we, are checking out, have just a few days left of creepy season.
So I was gonna share my top 10, but I figured people should listen to Decade of Horror. I can share my
100%.
top
Yeah.
10 in November.
Yeah.
But I can tell you some movies I've been watching. Um, as soon as I figure out, oh yeah, because it's under keep notes, not notes. Um, uh, just to name a few this year, or currently, I watched Wolfman. Wolfman's on Peacock, I think. That's with um, Weapons Girl herself, Silver Surfer. Why can't I think of her name? Gardner, Katie? No,
Julia Garner.
Julie Gardner. Thank you. She's in that. That's by Lee Wanell. He's the guy who did Saw, um, and other things, not just Saw. I believe he also did Invisible Man. Uh, uh, the movie I'll talk about at the end for our recommendations. I watched The Final Destination.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched Until Dawn as
Yeah.
well because I just had to.
Uh-huh.
There's some good stuff out there. Weapons just hit HBO. Excuse
It
me,
did.
HBO Max this weekend.
Yep.
Um, there's a few other movies. I think Dangerous Animals is a movie that Donnie talked about. That's with Jai Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just hit streaming this weekend as well. So there's some good stuff out there.
But then you chose, okay, I've heard Wolfman isn't very good. Is it good?
I liked Wolfman. I do understand why people don't like it. It's not
Okay.
super horror. It's more family thriller. It certainly is. It's a unique take on the Wolfman um, string of films.
Gotcha.
But more importantly, Kyle,
Yeah.
have you watched any of your homework horror movies yet?
That's a great question. I mean, I watched one of them.
I mentioned you during the Decade of Horror as well. I told people to bully you to watch the movies I gave you homework for.
Well, because I did watch one of them.
Which one did you watch?
Because I watched, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it, the handshake one.
Oh, talk to me. That you had already watched that. That's not your
Yeah.
homework. Your
Oh,
homework is Hereditary and Midsommar.
yeah. Well, Hereditary. Josh, these are okay. Well, okay. So Hereditary is on HBO Max now.
Yeah, it
Cool.
is.
Okay. Midsummer. They're both on HBO Max. Okay, Josh,
Great.
here's my commitment to you. I will watch them both
Whoa.
before. I was gonna say before Halloween, but that might be very challenging. Before what? Next Monday. So in the next week, basically, I will
Wow.
watch them both.
Okay. I believe you.
I wanted to watch Weapons, but I will push that back. I will
Hmm.
watch Hereditary and Midsummer instead.
Oh,
Midsummer.
interesting. I know I say it so pretentiously, but I don't know how they want it pronounced. I always
I
say
mean, it's
midsummer,
still,
but it's not spelled midsummer.
but I mean, Midsummer. If you just said Midsummer, like that, I guess would technically work. I don't
I
know.
guess, yeah.
But I also help. It's one of those things too that if you just say Midsummer, people might not be able. It's not.
It's
People
not
might
what it
struggle
is.
finding it. You know. But
Yeah,
if you say Midsummer, then everyone
I
can
know. I
know
hate
how to
saying it
spell
that
it.
way.
So, yeah, yeah. All right, so Hereditary and Midsummer. Yep, I'll watch them
And
both in a
weapons.
week. Well, Weapons, like I said, that one I do want to
Tack
watch,
it
but I'm
on
going to
the
push
end.
that. Yeah, that's tacked on the end. What I find interesting about Midsummer is that, and not that this is the end all be all for everything, but like on Rotten Tomatoes, like I'd always heard that this movie is really, really good, but it's only a 63% from like audiences.
Yeah, I can. It's definitely an experience more than a like. I understand why it has that rating. I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't like it. You might not like it either. I do think I don't know that it's important, but it is fun to think of while watching it that this is probably 98% of the population's introduction to Florence Pugh.
Oh,
She had
yeah,
worked before this, but she was
right.
just in that wrestling movie, and I think she was in Little Women, but I think
She
that
was
came
in
out
Little Women, yeah.
after, right?
I think oh man, I saw Little Women in theaters. I actually really loved that movie. It was also, I think they're both 2019.
Okay, so maybe the same year.
I think, yeah, I think they're both the same. I think they're the same year. I actually really loved that movie. I thought Little Women was really good.
I haven't seen it. I would be interested in seeing it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I thought it was quite excellent. Okay, Josh, here's the real thing, the real hesitation I've had. I don't mind being scared.
Uh
Actually, I'm
huh.
totally down with being scared. I struggle more and more with gore. That is the thing that like bothers me more and more. How gory are both of these movies?
Oh, I would say they're not very gory. However,
Hmm.
there are certainly uh scenes that have gore, but it's more like it's a very small fraction of the entire movie for both movies.
Okay.
Not very gory, but there are memorable things that happen to involve gore.
Okay.
But it's not like you're watching Saw or Hostel or something like that.
Is it like more or less than Talk to Me?
That's about the same.
About same. Okay, because
Yeah,
Talk to
yeah,
Me was
yeah.
fine. Like that's about the level where I'm like, okay, there is some when it happens, it is shocking and like really like
Yes.
gripping, like from a plot like idea.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not just like gore fetishizing and things like that. So if it's
It's
on
not
that level, then
fetishizing
I'm
it,
good.
no. No.
Okay, cool.
I gotta change my headset batteries real quick, so you're
Go
gonna
ahead, change them
lose me.
headset
So, what
batteries.
was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Uh, of course. All right, never mind. Just either fill the space or don't.
Well, I will fill the space. I am excited to watch these. I there was a time in my life where horror was a thing I really enjoyed, and now I'm someone who really enjoys Little Women. But that's okay. We all change over time. It's not a big
What
deal.
happened? What was funny? What did I
No,
miss?
I just said that there was a time in my life where I really was super into horror, but
Oh,
now I'm at the point in my life where I'm much more like into Little Women. But that's okay.
oh, weird.
Like
Out of context. That's terrible.
that does sound terrible. Yes, the movie Little Women, the movie Little Women. Yeah, good, good.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say what I'm gonna recommend at the end of our show is much more gory than I anticipated.
Oh, okay. Because this is I am the thing that you're going to talk about. I am aware of. I have not
Yeah.
watched,
Yeah. I'll
but
talk about
I'm
it a
definitely
little bit
aware of.
for you.
So, and I could just say that am I really surprised that Josh is recommending an A24 film? No, I'm not. No, I'm
Shouldn't
not.
be surprising though.
So,
If
but I
this
have
was
heard
10
very good
years
things
ago, it
about
would
this
be a
movie.
legendary pictures film. So
Yeah, I have heard very good things about this movie though. So,
yeah.
But anyway, we'll get to that later. Enough with the yipping and yapping, Josh. Let's get to our show. So thanks so much for joining us this week, everyone, or this month, I guess, everyone. As always, if you have any feedback, questions, or suggested topics, hit us up at boardwithvg@gmail.com or check out the Instagram, also boardwithvg. We're proud to be part of the Play Some Video Games podcast family, and we encourage you to check out all of the shows like the PSVG podcast, the Nintendo Shack, PSXP, and the occasional Sweet Hangs or Decade of Horror. You never know when a new show might pop up, so be sure to stay tuned to all of your favorite PSVG podcasts to stay up to date. We're also a member of the Dice Tower Podcast Network, so if you enjoy our conversations about board games and would like to dive deeper into that world, we encourage you to check out the Dice Tower Podcast archive as well as all the other members of the network. No matter what type of board games that you enjoy, there's a podcast on the network that's right for you. So with that, Josh, we both have a nice list of games. I feel like I suggest we do what we did last time. Talk about the games that we don't have in common. Then together we will talk about the games we have in common. So why
Sure.
don't you kick us off, Josh, with something that you individually are playing?
We have so many games in common.
We do.
Did I talk about Lego Party last month?
I don't remember, but you can talk about it.
I
Now,
know we talked about it,
we talked
but
about it.
I
Yes.
don't know that it was. I don't remember when it came out. So yeah, Lego Party is a game that I have on the Xbox.
Yeah.
It is Mario Party but Legos.
Mhm.
It is a little deeper, perhaps, in challenge of games, but otherwise, I think it's pretty much Mario Party. There's
Yeah.
some more adult jokes in it that kind of hopefully go over the kids' heads, but you essentially have like game show hosts, Lego people that are game show hosts that kind of interject while you're playing and rush you along if you're taking too long and remind you if you haven't used your items. Like
Right.
it's kind of funny. And each of the levels are pretty unique. I think there's only 4 levels, but they have like a pretty unique way you interact with them where you can get to build spaces and you can choose like which we'll call it like an attraction you can build.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a just like an offset of the map. And it doesn't really gatekeep gold stars like Mario Party does,
Mm-hmm.
which actually it's like refreshing and frustrating at the same time because it really changes your strategy if you're trying to win. You can't like just kind of plan on making it to the star because in Lego Party those the golden bricks are everywhere. And there's free ones, there's ones that you can pay for. They are constantly being able to be stolen. Um, and there's not like superstar bonuses at the end. You don't get extra golden bricks at the end of the game. So what you kind of see for the last round is pretty much what you're going to get. If you're not in first place and you just took your turn, you're not getting first place magically.
Right.
So that's kind of good too. I do like that, but I find the mini games to be much more challenging than Mario Party, while similarly styled. I don't know that they're like changing the format, but they
Mm-hmm.
are making the games harder. But I really like it, and my son loves it. My wife seems to have fun with it, so it's been a big hit at the house.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. The only other game on my list that's not on your list is, let me double check. Yeah, yeah, is Outer Worlds 2. um, which we just talked about before we started recording. I have no self control and willpower. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, I can't defend that. I don't, uh, which is like leads to a lot of problems in my life, not just video games. Um, but yeah, I was telling Kyle I kind of needed my fix. I needed a shooter fix. I haven't really been playing a shooter, and while I probably wouldn't categorize Outer Worlds 2 as a shooter, um, Outer Worlds I played as a shooter, so I'm assuming I can also do that for this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that they let you play pretty much your own play style in these games, and I really like that about it. So yeah, I'm just at the beginning doing the first mission. But I created my character. I created the kind of character I want um, to play as, which I think it's a little bit more guided in Outer Worlds, where you can
Mm-hmm.
kind of, and they kind of tell you that, like, hey, this is your guy, shape guy or girl, shape them
Yeah.
up. How do you want to? And like, kind of lean into that because you're
Mm-hmm.
getting these perks that are really going to benefit you in the long run.
Yeah.
What I'll tell you, one thing I do find interesting in this is they added factions, um, at least more heavily. There might have, I don't remember being factions in the first one, uh, at least not like how it is in Star Wars Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do like is in the first game, I was able to kill an NPC and really it just completely blocked off a path for me,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize at the time when I was doing it.
Sure. Yeah.
And something that they do mention in this is faction loyalties are a thing. You can choose a perk that helps you negate that. I did
Mm-hmm.
not choose that perk. But it also mentions like if you kill like a really high ranking person, uh, you can never escape that like threat level.
Mm.
So no matter where you go, if you run into a person from that faction, if you had killed a certain level
Mm-hmm.
person in that faction, you will always be attacked. Which I think is
Gotcha.
fun and interesting because that means you could potentially kill a high level person in every faction and then just show up at a spaceport and see what happens,
Yeah.
which could be pretty fun.
Yeah. No, definitely. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll talk more about it next month. But yeah, I there's this and probably one other game I'll be spending most of my time with
If
this
you
month
already
in
said,
November.
yeah, if you already said this, my apologies. How long have you played for?
No, just like an hour, not too
Oh,
long.
okay. Gotcha. So just picking it up.
Just yeah, just created my guy, did the opening like stuff, and started my first mission.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, we do have a lot of overlaps. Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I guess I'll talk about my one
yeah,
game, which is a board
a
game.
board
I
game.
think that's it. Yeah. So my only non-overlap game is I did play a board game this month, and that is the game Meadow. This is designed by Clemens Kalicki. It's published by Rebel Studio. It came out back in 2021. Rank is number 212 overall on Board Game Geek. Josh, refresh my memory. Have you played Meadow at all?
I have not. I am familiar with it. I have not played it though.
Okay, do you own Meadow?
No, but it
Okay.
has been close to being in my collection a few
Okay.
times.
So recently Game Nerds did like a since they because of the tariffs, they didn't do their usual nerd day. So they did this, but they did this big sale recently. Actually it was very odd because it was like the same weekend I think that Miniature Market like did their huge big sale too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was happenstance or what, but they both had a huge sale. So I was on Game Nerds because one of the games that they had that I really wanted, which I came Horseless Carriage, I think is the name of it. That it is a from the same people who made like Food Chain Magnate. It's a splatter game. It's
Okay.
usually like $170, but it was they had it for like $30. But
Really?
then I realized it's a 3-player minimum game. So I was like, dang it, I'm not, even though this game is like an insane deal, I'm not going to buy it. But then I saw that Meadow was on sale, super affordable, as was Hegemony. So I bought those two
Mm.
instead. So I ended up spending way more money than I was going to spend on Horseless Carriage. But I got two games that were both on my list of things to pick up. So did not get to Hegemony yet, but did sit down to play Meadow. So Meadow is a set collection game that you are basically how do I even explain this game? Because how you do things is pretty unique. So like many of these set collection games, you are creating this meadow, imagine that in front of you, and you have certain resources available to you based off the cards that are in your meadow. And in the center of the play space is a board that kind of has a waterfall of cards for you to select, and it is in a 4x4 grid. And then that grid on the left, right, and bottom have like arrows that you can like kind of slide these pieces into, and those arrows will say like or the pieces you slide in will say like two, and that means you have to like pick the card that is two away from like where you slid that arrow in. But you can put them on any of the sides you want to. So you have numbers 1 through 4, and then you kind of have when you're only playing a 2-player version, you have a wild that you can like then do like any of the ones you've already played. In addition to this, you have like a little campfire section where some special actions happen. There's ways you can kind of pick up different types of cards from there, but ostensibly what you're doing is you're just kind of picking like, hey, what card do I want to get? You slide your little arrow marker in, pick up the card you're wanting, and then the next person goes. But since you're, each going back and forth, obviously more and more of those arrow spots are getting filled up. So then suddenly, like, the cards you want to try to get are getting more strategic. You're trying to think really thoughtfully about, okay, if I pick this and then this, then maybe I can get this thing as long as they don't take it. Like, all these things that you're kind of playing around. So this, how you take your turn and like how you pick your cards, is actually a really interesting mechanism. It's something that I'm like, oh, this is like really kind of thoughtful, really kind of interesting, kind of a neat way of like managing. Like, you can't just take whatever you want. You got to really be thoughtful and have some intentionality with how you're approaching the selection. With that being said, Josh, I have not been so disappointed in a board game, and I can't remember how long.
Oh, really?
This game I found to be not very good. And I am by far in the minority because I know people who this is like their favorite game of all time. I had so little fun with this game. Now,
Wow.
I do want to play it with more people. It's interesting because Board Game Geek says that it's best at 2 players.
Yeah.
The problem is, Josh, this game plays out over 6 rounds. Those cards in the middle only refresh 1 time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
every time I take a card, I refill it, but like we're just going back and forth like one person at a time.
Yeah.
So if the cards that are out there happen to be cards that I don't have the resources for, I can't get them. There's like nothing I like. You can discard cards to ignore some resource symbols, but you only start with a hand of 5, and it's not like you ever can draw more than 1 card.
Yeah.
So you kind of have this limited number of times where you can kind of just like ignore a resource that's needed. But then also, since there's over like 200 different cards, right? Well, you're building up your meadow, putting all these resources into it, but sometimes, like happened in my first game, the resources I was creating to be available to buy the higher level cards, those cards just never became like those resources were just never needed. So I have this like tableau of like really great resources
Yeah.
that no card needs those resources to be purchased. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Well, that
And then
stinks.
there was on the like kind of campfire board, there's these like alternatives, like ways to like score points that, if like, hey, if you have, there's this randomization that if like you have these 2 symbols next to each other that show up in the campfire, like once you create them next to each other in your meadow, you can like claim points like on this campfire board. Literally one of the are 2 of the symbols I never had a path to be able to get. Like, there
Wow.
was no thing that came available that I could like actually get those symbols like in my meadow just because of the way the cards were coming out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe this is just a really, really bad first experience, right? So I thought about it, was like, okay, what are all the things I'm taking away from this? We played the game again. I went into the second play of it and I was like, okay, these were the symbols that I had a hard time getting before. These were the symbols that came up before that like really that I didn't have, that put me in a really good spot, or put me in a really tough spot. So then I made sure I had those things available, and then none of those cards showed up. I was like, I literally like fell into the trap of like, well, last time they needed this and I didn't have it, so this time I'm going to get it. But now this time I didn't need it. I needed the stuff I had in the previous game. So I was like, am I just ridiculous? Like, am I just crazy? Like, am I playing this wrong? Like, what is
Yeah.
going on? So I was reading some of the forums on Board Game Geek, and people were like, oh, well, you have these special powers that you can use that let you like take 3 cards from the top and do these other like random draws and things like that, or take 1 card from anywhere. And it's like, okay, sure. And I did try those, but when you do the random draws, it's, a pretty traditional deck like card game, like draw 3 off the top, keep 1, other 2 go
Yeah.
on the bottom, right? Very traditional thing. But if you draw the 3 and they all suck, like that doesn't help you filter the cards at all. Like,
Right.
you're like, it's still like luck of like the however many hundreds of like how many like cards are in that deck that you're gonna get cards that you need.
Yeah.
And I haven't, and then maybe this game is just a victim of its own success, right? Because people liked it so much that my expectations were just too out of whack.
Sure.
But I genuinely have not been this disappointed in a game in a very long time.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's not very complicated. It's not, I mean, it's a pretty light game. I think it's definitely, I wouldn't call it entry level because the mechanisms of how you select cards is pretty, yeah, there's a lot of thought that has to go into that. So I think it does, potentially lead itself to analysis paralysis for people who haven't played a lot of board games. But I was just not impressed, and I kind of regretted buying it. I was a little
Bummer.
bit bummed. We're gonna play it this coming weekend with my mother-in-law, and we'll see if maybe having more players that allows more cards to filter will help. But man, I was
I'm
super
impressed you're giving
underwhelmed.
it a third shot.
Right? Yeah, I was just super underwhelmed with this game.
Yeah.
If people love it, great, more power to them. But I haven't been this bummed by a board game in quite some time. So
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry to
for
hear that.
Meadow. Just I don't think it's for me. So
And that's okay.
yeah.
It just thinks that you had to buy it to find out.
Yeah, no, I also got it for like $18, so I'm
That's
not like
okay.
super
That's
broken up about it. So yeah.
we cannot we can't always find the winners.
That's right. Absolutely. And hey, still got to spend some time with the partner, drink some coffee,
Yes.
watch some college football, and play a board game.
There you
Worst
go.
time ways to spend time. So all right, Josh. Now we have a whole list of games that we have been playing.
Yeah.
How do you want to tackle this?
Uh that's a great question. I don't know. I'll pick one, you pick one.
Sounds great. What are you gonna pick, sir?
Well, let's pick we'll do a quick this would be an easy one. Let's do Deep Rock Galactic Survivor.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to talk too much about it because I played this before on
Yeah.
early access on Steam.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'll just say it's like a mining vampire survivors style game,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll let you talk more about your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so that is, mining vampire survivors, right? Everything is auto. You're just moving around.
Yep.
This does have a bit more intentionality in that you have specific missions you're trying to accomplish. Every time you kind of go in and you're mining certain resources, those resources are what allow you to upgrade your character. So there's some kind of a little more specificity that's going on here. There's also a really, I think maybe slightly too deep gear system.
Yeah,
That gear
I
system
think
is
so too.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're picking up gear and like you can gear your characters, and then different characters, different abilities. But it very much is that go in, do a run. They do have different types of runs too, because they have like escort missions that you can do where you're kind of escorting like a drill. They do have like the more traditional, just going down to the certain depths and beating like the kind of the boss at the end, and then they have like these weapon masteries that you can do once you get like reach a certain level with each of the different miners that you can kind of master their weapon. So there's a lot of variety to it and kind of what you're doing. It's definitely adding layers of nuance that Vampire Survivors, I think, has, especially if you get the DLCs, but aren't maybe so much there
Yeah.
just from the base game perspective. And this kind of has it all in one fell swoop. I am pretty enamored with this game, Josh. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's a lot
I've
of
played a
fun.
lot of hours of it while watching like college football and things like that since I've gotten my
Yeah.
Steam Deck. It plays great on Steam Deck. It really feels at home there. I probably have 12 to 15 hours into it, I would say,
Nice.
which I don't think is too bad for that's kind of the only place I'm playing it. But it's great. I think if you know some stuff about Deep Rock Galactic, the more typical game, yay, like that. I guess you might catch a reference
Oh,
or two,
right,
but for the
right.
most part, like you really don't need to know anything. Is you're going in, you're mining some resources, getting some stuff, and then doing the run again. So
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. I don't if you've played survivor types games before and didn't enjoy them, I don't think you're suddenly going to love them
It's not
if you
for
play
you.
Deep Rock. But I do think if you enjoy those styles of games, this is a very, very good one from my
Yeah.
perspective.
Agreed.
All right, Josh. Well, I'm going to keep it on what might be potentially short. Let's talk about Keeper, Josh.
Cool.
So Keeper, the new game from Double Fine, just came out about a week ago, probably at this point, maybe not even quite that long ago.
Yeah. A week ago. Yeah.
Kind of in this bunch of games that Xbox was releasing all at the end of October. That and Outer Worlds 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, just kind of all bunched up against one another. This is a Lee Petty joint from Double Fine, so not Tim Schafer, who's the lead on this one. But you are playing a lighthouse who has a bird friend. Um, and it's kind of like an adventure game, basically, right? You're walking
Yeah.
around doing the thing. Some really light puzzles, so that you can kind of dispatch your bird to do some things. As a lighthouse, you have a light that swivels, that you can kind of wrap up the intensity. You can kind of dash a little bit, in some situations. It is a fixed camera, which I think I had heard, but I don't think I
Mm,
had totally like registered in my head that it was going to be
yeah.
a fixed camera, which I haven't done that in a while. I will say the game is gorgeous. I think the art style
Yeah.
and the art direction in the game is pretty incredible. Genuinely, I think it's one of the best looking games of the year, just from the commitment to the art style and how well it translates to everything they're doing in that world. It's a beautiful game as far
Yep.
as that goes. I think I'm about 3/4 the way through, and I think I've played for about 2 hours.
Yeah. I can't tell how long it is, but I feel like I'm pretty far in.
Yeah. But overall, Yeah, I am liking
You like
it, but
it?
maybe not as much as I thought or hoped I would. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think it's charming. Uh, you're right. It looks great. It does only take about 3 hours to beat.
Mm-hmm.
After looking it up.
Oh, is
Um,
it 3 hours?
yeah, about 3 hours.
Okay.
It's that's the Kotaku's answer. So who knows? I think it's charming. I think you're right. The fixed camera. I find myself like just moving my lighthouse thing
Mm-hmm.
around, trying to change the camera angles still.
Oh, yeah, I
Uh,
definitely am trying sometimes to do that. Yeah.
but yeah, I just got to a part. Actually, I was playing today. I just got to a part where a big thing happens, and I was surprised. That's all I'll say. So maybe I'm further than 3/4 through. Maybe I'm 7/8 through. I don't know.
I'll just say this. Did you fall down?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
had that
we're
happen too.
okay.
Yeah.
You already did that. Okay.
Yeah. I literally finished that
Fall.
and that's where I stopped.
Yeah. Okay, that's where I stopped too.
Okay,
'Cause
so we're
I
probably
was
the
like,
exact
this
same
is a
place.
whole new game mechanic. I have to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. But yeah, otherwise, I think it's great. I think it's really cute. I think it's charming. I think it's very light puzzles, which I like,
Yeah.
and it's just like it feels like an experience more than a game,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like almost like a tech demo kind of thing. Not to slight the game, it just feels like a contained experience.
Yeah, which is I don't isn't a bad thing. It does feel like kind of just vibes, right? It's just
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
vibes a game to me very much. It just the vibes aren't quite resonating with me as much as I'd hoped they would. Because this in theory should
yeah.
be like up my alley
Up
hundred
your alley. It
percent.
does feel like an Annapurna game a little bit more than
Yeah,
it
and
does
it
about
just
that.
yeah, I can't put my finger on what. It's just not quite hitting it out of the park for me yet. But hey, a little bit of time yet. Maybe the end will wrap up pretty magnificently. Like I like it. I just don't love it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. I
So
hear you.
cool.
Cool. I did want to mention I didn't put Hades 2 on here. Hades 2 is probably the game I've spent the most time playing in the month of
Yeah.
October. Um, and I just wanted to tease a little bit that before we get to December, I think I can definitively say Hades 2 is better than Hades
Oh
for me.
man. Does this mean, Josh? Does this mean this maybe is your favorite game of all time?
I can't. Well, it's not my favorite game of all time, but it's up there.
Okay.
I think I will have to keep that with Hades, though. I can't separate the two of them. I don't think, but I think it is a better game than Hades.
Yeah.
Having played Hades, I don't know if if you hadn't played Hades but only played Hades 2. I don't know that well, one that matters, or
Sure.
two, if someone would think that. But I think it just improves on everything. I just like the combat
Yeah.
much better than Hades.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, and we do own Pokemon ZA, but it's not for me. My son and my
Sure.
wife are playing it, but
Yeah.
I may venture into that area in November. But next let's talk about our gaming night game, and that is Absolum, which Kyle and I have been playing together.
Yeah.
Um, and Absolum is a roguelite side scroll beat 'em up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
100%.
So uh, you take a really cool art style, almost cell shaded, not quite, but it's like the art style of the characters is subtly. It reminds me of the original Disney Robin Hood. Like the
Oh, sure.
cartoon
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
style is just
Yeah.
subtly different than the background style, so
Right.
they stick out. The characters stick out from the backgrounds more.
Mm-hmm.
And the art style actually reminds me of like the knights and stuff from Robin Hood as well.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, you play up to two players. You do these runs. You're supposed to see how far you can get
Mm-hmm.
before you die while getting power ups. And each character has like different special moves that you can eventually unlock the more you play. We did find a third character with rumors of a fourth character that was maybe just right out of our reach.
Yeah, we died like right at the wrong time for that. Yeah.
Um, But that being said, I've been having a lot of fun playing it. I'm not getting worn out by the loop because the loop is what the game is. It's a beat 'em up.
Hmm.
It's like built right in there for you to not be bored of it. So I do like that so far. If we play like for hours and hours more, maybe I will. But so far, I'm really enjoying our time, and I'm not getting frustrated with our losses because I think we're getting further each time we play, and we're finding new
Yeah.
things each time we play. So I'm
Yep.
also enjoying that aspect of it. How are you finding Absolum?
I think it's great. I think it is hitting kind of all of those right notes, I guess, would for back of a better word, for this style of a game. I am not someone who is typically going to play a beat 'em up on my own, but the fact that it is online co-op makes it a great match for us on our Thursday night game nights, and I've really been enjoying kind of going through it. The depth to the combat is like actually quite a bit more than you'd anticipate, right?
Yeah,
Like how you actually block and grab and like all these things is you can kind of button mash initially, but once you get further on, like having some understanding of how to deflect and block and do these things actually matters a little bit.
yeah,
um it does do the thing that I don't always love that games do, and I know like every game does this, but it's like, oh, uh sometimes when you're getting your upgrades, it's like this doesn't really go with the other things that I
oh
had.
yeah,
Like sometimes that
yep.
happens a little bit where your run or your build gets a little like um
You're like, I guess I'm
convoluted.
changing my build now.
Yeah, the synergy isn't always there sometimes, and since you get so few upgrades so sparsely
Yeah,
um like along the way, that makes it a little challenging. But overall, really enjoying it. I think they have a great game, an interesting world. I'm not maybe quite as invested in the story as I should be, but I
yeah,
generally know what's going on, which I think is a win. So yeah, overall, really really enjoying it. I think it's great. So
nice, same.
um, well, hey, stick with the games that have runs. Ball pit, Josh.
Ball X
Ball
pit.
pit. So ball pit. I've heard it pronounced a bazillion ways with the X,
Yeah,
without the X, with times, not the times. I'm just going with ball pit. There's an X in the middle there though. It is a brick breaker kind of space invaderies type.
rock breakout.
Yeah, breakout type
Arkanoid.
game. Yeah, Arkanoid, kind of any of those, where your runs are ostensibly going down into this pit. The different character you have sends out balls that are hitting these enemies as they're coming down. There are kind of some mini bosses along the way, ultimate boss at the end. Once you clear the level, you go back up to your town, and then you have this really interesting, weird kind of town building system where you build your town out and you put resources and buildings in different places, and then you send your workers out to work. But then it's kind of like a brick breaking experience there too, because how when you send your workers out, you kind of pick the angle you want them to go at and you kind of shoot them out, and then how they bounce off buildings and hit resources is how much like resources you get. Like you have to hit buildings a certain number of times for them to become active, and then those give you buffs. And like if you put buildings next to other buildings, they give you different bonuses to certain different characters that you have. How you unlock characters is you like unlock buildings and then put them in the town, then have to get people to bounce off them a certain amount of times, and then you unlock a new character. So it's this kind of weird mini game within the game that I didn't totally expect to be there. And sometimes
Yeah.
I think it's super interesting. Sometimes I think it's super annoying.
Yeah.
So it's this interesting mix of, it's not just, hey, go again and do some more brick breaker game. It is like, how do you plan out this city? Uh, I'm also playing this on my Steam Deck. Basically what happens is I do like a run or two of Deep Rock Galactic, and then I do like a run or two of Ball Pit, and then I go back and do a run or two of Deep Rock, and that's just kind of how I've been spending my time.
Nice.
But I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I'm having a good time with it. I don't anticipate stopping at any point. But Josh, how are you thinking, or what are your thoughts on Ball Pit?
I think it's a lot of fun. I agree with you. The town aspect is a little frustrating because those
Yeah.
little guys just you can expand too much too quick, which is what I did, and have too much open space.
Yep.
Uh, you never really know what they're going to bounce off of. So if you're really hoping to get one thing, you might not get it for like
Mm-hmm.
4 runs. Um, Luckily, at least for resources, you can get most of like resources if you complete a run. Kind of like Vampire
Mm.
Survivors, like when you're fully like leveled up, they just start dropping either gold or resources instead of power ups.
Yeah.
What I do like about Ball Pit is that like you're getting these balls, and there's like Earth Ball and Lightning Ball and Bug Ball, and then there's tiny baby balls, and
Yep.
but they have these things: fission, fusion, and um, uh, I want to
Well, what is
say
the other one?
X. Is it X something?
I
Is it
can't remember.
um, evolve?
Evolve.
Fission,
There you go.
fusion,
There you
and
go. Yep.
evolve. So you have these abilities. So like fission is like getting a chest in Vampire Survivors, where it just upgrades like random 1 through like 6 of your balls or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But fusion lets you combine 2 balls, and evolution lets you evolve balls for like finding them later on in future runs. And I do like that aspect too, especially like when you get like the queen bug thing and mix it with a laser ball, and you have like a
Mm-hmm.
laser bug ball. There's some pretty cool combinations.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy it. I will probably pick it up on, well, I'll be able to download it on Steam, but I'll try not to play it when other people are playing. Uh because I play it on the Xbox now because it's on Game Pass, but it's like a
Yep.
perfect Steam Deck game.
Yeah. It's a really good Steam Deck game. 100%.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying my time with it, minus the town stuff.
Yeah, the town stuff is such an interesting choice.
It's like if you played Call of the Lamb and if you played it for the combat, and then you still had to go back and do the cult part
Yeah.
and didn't want to do that. Like
Yep.
it's basically Animal
Yeah.
Crossing meets action adventure game. So
Absolutely.
I can understand why some people will be turned off, myself included, a little bit, a little bit.
All right, Josh. Back to you then.
So we got 2 more. Both I got both of these games courtesy of Kyle. And we usually try to keep it even, but Kyle's been eclipsing me on these games, so I'm gonna have to catch up soon. But
I'm not
that
worried.
game is Dispatch, which I knew about. I played the demo on PC. I did not realize it was episodic
Mm-hmm.
to the extent that it is. So getting into the game, only having played the demo on Steam, it didn't really tell you too much. It just kind of gave you an idea of the main gameplay component.
Mm-hmm.
And what Dispatch is it's an animated, kind of like Telltale Games video game.
Mm-hmm.
It has very similar um, thing that Telltale used to do, where it like tells you at the end of each episode the popularity of your choices versus everyone else in the community, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, it's a game where you're playing the main character, who's voiced by Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad and Fast and Furious fame. Need for Speed, sorry, not Fast and Furious. He was in the Need for Speed movie.
Yes, 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 yes.
Might as well be Fast and Furious.
Might as well be.
Um, uh, and he is a superhero. He's a superhero adjacent person who ends up having to work for this dispatch company, and that they dispatch superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spoil the story, so I'm just tiptoeing around what we're
Yeah.
doing in the
Oh,
game, but
fair, because yeah, it's a very story-driven game. So.
sending out superheroes to put out fires, get cats out of trees, stop bank heists. All these things that come up um, are strength or attribute driven, not strength driven. They're
Yeah,
attribute driven.
attribute. Yep.
So you want to pick from your roster of available soups to go and take care of the task that is at hand, and it
Mm-hmm.
has similar vibes to XCOM for mission structure, but also um, it's, well, I don't know that it's similar to anything else. It's kind of unique in that way, where each character has their power grid that shows what their, like Baldur's Gate would have when you're creating a character. And some people are strong in fighting, and some are strong in talking, and you have to choose the right person to do the right task and send them out. What did I
Josh,
say?
you know what
That's
game
funny.
is just like? It's just like Promise Mascot Agency, because that's
Oh,
what you do in
geez,
that
that's
game
why you're
too.
smirking from ear to ear. I thought I said something funny, but you're just sitting on a gold
No,
mine
that's
of
because that's what you do in Promise Mascot Agency. They're like, we need a mascot. So you look at your roster of mascots who has strengths and talents in the areas of what they need, and you send them out to do the job.
well, there you go. So for everyone who's played that very popular game that everyone's heard of, that's how this game plays.
Yeah.
Like, oh shoot, I was gonna pull a random reference up, but I ruined it for myself. I really like it a lot. I think the voice acting is some of the best voice acting I've heard in gaming in a long
Hmm.
time. And I was probably skeptical with an actor being the main character, like an
Yeah.
actor. Not the voice actors aren't actors, but they're usually better at voice acting than a Hollywood actor is.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing a great job. There's some points in the game that were very like well, like the lines were delivered so well. I was lost. There's quick time events in the game. I went through a whole thing, not even
Hmm.
realizing a quick time event was happening.
I know
And
what you're talking about. I'm
I
pretty
did the
certain.
end of I finished the episode. It was like you and 90% of other people didn't do a thing during this thing. And I was like, what? Well, not you and 90%. Like 90% of everyone else chose what you didn't choose. And I'm
Oh,
like, oh
right.
crap. How did
Yeah.
I miss that? And then yeah, and then it has 2 episodes out now, and it releases 2 episodes next week.
Yep. Two
Maybe the
episodes a
day that
week
this
for the
comes
next
out.
4 weeks. Yep.
So what do you think so far?
I am quite smitten with this game. I really enjoyed many of the the Telltale like Walking Dead, and really Tales from the Borderlands. I loved. Like I really enjoyed that style of game, and Dispatch fits into that. Now I'm pretty certain this originally was going to be a Netflix interactive show.
Oh, cool.
And then Netflix washed their hands of it, and they're like, well, let's try to make it a game. So some of the stuff is a little more maybe shoehorned in there than maybe
Yeah,
originally was going to be, but it doesn't feel disjointed.
like the
I
hacking
think,
stuff is probably wasn't in the Netflix thing.
yeah, I'm thinking like that kind of stuff might not have been there. So I think they did some work to try to make it a little bit more of a game. The game parts of it are fine. I honestly don't even know that I need them. Like if
Yeah,
it just was a much more traditional, like quick time, a couple quick time events, choose your responses to thing, honestly I would be totally happy with it. But the animation is incredible, the voice acting is so good.
yeah,
It is funny and sad and heartfelt and thoughtful and ridiculous, like all at the same time, but also in a way that feels totally natural.
yeah,
Like there are very serious themes that are being discussed, like covered in some of these things, but then they're also making like jokes about ridiculous things, and there's like male nudity like in the first like 10
yeah,
minutes. Like I mean, this is very much like its own kind of feel of this thing, and you're kind of like, what am I getting into? And it's this really kind of amalgamation of a lot of different concepts kind of shoved into this box. And concepts I mean from like theme and what they're talking about, not necessarily like gaming concepts. And I think so far in the first 2 episodes, it's doing an excellent job. The episodes are very short, like 45 minutes to an
yeah,
hour. And like I said, there's going to be, I think, 8 episodes total. So 2 episodes releasing each week for the next 3 weeks. But I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. I've
yeah.
really enjoyed Dispatch so far.
Same.
Awesome. Well, Josh, in the last game on our list, and look at this, we're gonna go like another hour again just talking
Wow.
about games, which I'm totally okay with because like there's been so many games lately. Is Ghost of Yotei. So the next big PlayStation first party game from Sucker Punch, the follow up to Ghost of Tsushima. That is a sequel, but not a sequel. Sequel that is set many, 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 many years in the future. No recurring characters or anything like this at this point. But it is interestingly a kind of similar story to Assassin's Creed Shadows that also came out this
Oh
year,
yeah,
like this revenge tale of trying to avenge your family and these different things that you're doing. But it has kind of all of the open world tropes that Ghost of Tsushima did, as far as like really vast open world, traveling by horse. Sucker Punch does this, like I don't understand like how low they figure out loading, because
yeah.
my gosh, like
Just like
them
no loading. Yeah,
and Insomniac, like those just so quick into everything as far as that goes. But I don't, I mean, I don't really even know what to say about this game. I'm about 20 hours in.
yeah.
You are kind of hunting down the Yotei 6. That is your mission. I mean, I don't know that this is spoilers at this point because it's in every marketing piece for this game, but you play Atsu, who's trying to avenge her family who were killed by the Yotei 6. Um, and then you go out and do open world PlayStation stuff. You
Yeah.
find ways to increase your health by getting naked and getting into a hot spring, and you cut some bamboo to increase your spirit, and you do side quests, and you follow foxes and follow birds to go to different places. You find new weapons, you find new like gadgets, kind of all this stuff, and then sometimes you decide to progress the main story from time to time and try to find these Yotei 6. uh I really liked Ghost of Tsushima. I thought it was a great game. I had a lot of fun with it. I have the platinum in that game. Coming into this game, I had very high expectations. And what I will say is that for the most part, this game is like Ghost of Tsushima plus one, right? They took a lot of the things that they did in Ghost of Tsushima, and I feel like they just
Yeah.
refined it even more. The combat, rather than having stances, you have different weapons. It just feels like I'm able to more easily like track that in my mind about like what weapon is better against which weapon. It just kind of feels like they're like took all these lessons and just made the game a little bit better, a little bit. I don't want to say even more sanded and round because I do think this game still has a lot of personality and a lot of um art direction to it. So it's not like this like over, because sometimes I think PlayStation games feel like these like really like all of the rough edges have been like absolutely sanded away.
Yeah.
And this game, that is true, but I don't think it has done that at the lack of personality or feeling like this game um is still like this direction that the people who created it wanted it to go. Like it still feels like this like lived in place with these lived in people with these realistic experiences. I had high expectations. For the most part, the game is meeting them. I'm really enjoying it. Josh, what are your thoughts on Ghost of Yotei?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it as well. I'm not that far in. I'm not sure how far in I am time wise, but I will say this: the pacing of the game feels really good,
Mm-hmm.
almost to the point where I'm like second guessing if I've moved on from places too quickly,
Yeah.
because I'm like finding myself in like new scenery. Just because I'm like, it's not that I'm avoiding side missions. I'm just kind of out doing stuff,
Yeah.
and I'll come across something and it seems to progress what I'm thinking is
Mm-hmm.
the main story. And I like that because I love Ghost of Tsushima, and like I also love games like that where you can kind of go to an area, knock out a bunch of side missions.
Mm-hmm.
But I also can I like that it's keeping me on pace
Mm-hmm.
with how the game wants me to go while I'm still feeling like, hey, I'm doing a fox den, hey, I'm doing a wolf den, like all these things at the same time. Um, and it's making me want to go back and do more things
Mm-hmm.
instead of me being like, oh, good, I'm on the right path. I'm like, oh, wait a second, I think I want to go back and like look at this thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I had one issue where like I think one of the quests, they're not very specific about how you need to get to where you're going.
Mm.
And I was trying to do this quest and I kept like getting to the spot and it's like return to story area. So I'll hit triangle to do that, but it pops me right back where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kept doing it over and over and over again. I tried for like 10 minutes to try to figure out what I was doing. And it was
Interesting.
literally that I just like 100 feet back, I didn't go left up a trail. Instead, I went
Oh,
straight and the game just let me do it.
yeah.
But it was part of a specific
Yeah.
like follow mission.
Gotcha.
Um, so other than that, it's been smooth sailing, and I haven't played enough to uh, say too much more on it. I'm enjoying the story, and I'm enjoying the character. I'm enjoying the plot device that they use to tell the main character story that was not in Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess to a degree it was, but not the way they used it in this.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with it. So it'll be Outer Worlds 2 and Ghost of Yotei will probably be minus dispatch like updates.
Yeah.
Will probably be most of my time for the next month.
Yeah. They're was one moment when I was playing this game that you had mentioned, these yes, you saw the foxes you follow, but then you also have like this wolf that you're helping out that you've obviously has also been in the trailers everywhere. And I don't think it's necessarily a wolf, it's wolves
It's
that you're
wolves,
helping.
yeah,
But maybe it's one, I don't know. She talks to it like it's one, but sometimes she talks to it like it's a different one, so I can't really tell.
yeah,
But either way, you kind of are like following your wolf to like this thing you're gonna do, and like I came over this hill, I'm like the wolf is running, I'm on my horse going full bore, like we come over this hill, we go into some little water, these birds fly away, and then there's this pack of horses running on the right hand
yeah,
side. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
my gosh, this game is like just looks incredible sometimes. It's so insane. Like, man, those people at Sucker Punch are wizards. Like, I don't know what they're doing up there, but my
yeah,
gosh, this game looks so good sometimes. It's just ridiculous. And
yeah. That wild horses thing was very cool. That happened to the one I did too.
yeah, like just cool stuff. But yeah, Ghost of Yotei. Well, yeah. And I think this is what's so. I know there was that article that was basically like all PlayStation games are the same, yada yada.
Yeah,
Sure, I think there is some you could make an argument, but like, and maybe I'm just maybe who those games are really like geared at, but like I still feel stuff when I'm playing them, right? Like, so
yeah.
maybe if and also we don't get them all that often these days. It doesn't seem. So there's a big enough gap between them where, yeah, I still feel things. I don't know. Yes, I want them to do
You
new
don't have to
things and
defend
invest in new
yourself.
IP. Yeah, like I want them to do new stuff too, but man, sometimes there's just it's really complicated when you want games that are unique and different and new. But when companies invest a ton of money into a game and like it delivers, there just really isn't sometimes there's just nothing quite feels like that. I remember one time I think I might have been Minmax, I can't remember who it was. It might have been even been Jacob Geller who was talking about like Spider-Man 2. Like the problem with Spider-Man 2 is it's just too fun all of the time, right? Like that
Yeah,
you're just always having fun, and that like there's no like you're just never not having fun, and
yeah.
that like at some point you have to like just slow down for a second, and the game doesn't let you. It's just like, no, have fun the whole
You
time.
gotta keep going.
Yeah, and I feel like that with like Ghost of Yotei when I'm playing it. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna go chop this thing, and then I'm gonna go do
Yeah,
this, and I'm gonna go buy with this thing and get this level this thing up, and then go stab the little mask, and then go do this thing. Like I'm just like all the time, I'm just like smiling and stabbing people, and it's great. Though the story is actually very sad.
it is a sad story. It gets
So
sadder as you play too.
it does. It gets a lot sadder,
Don't
but
worry about Sony. They got a new game coming out that mixes Days Gone with Spider-Man. So they're sticking to two things now.
yeah, that's right. That's right. We're gonna have some Wolverine,
Yeah.
wholly new IP that we've never heard of.
Oh, that
Um,
motorcycle riding looks very familiar.
um, how many of the Yotei 6 have you taken out?
One.
Just one. Okay, I
I
just took out
thought
my six.
two. I thought it was going to be two, but I got tricked.
You got tricked. Interesting. I have taken out. I just took out my second one recently. So, like I said, I'm like 20 hours in, and I've only taken out two. So,
Yeah.
I'm on my way to my third, but now I got distracted by some bounties, so I'm going to do that instead. All right, let's move on, Josh. We'll talk about some news and things like that. First one, I think this is just like a never-ending update as far as this goes. As we've talked about many times, CMON or CMON is struggling. They've been selling off their IP like mad, and that has continued. They sold Cthulhu Death May Die
Yeah.
to Asmodee. So this is from Board Game Wire. Board game giant Asmodee has continued to push into the crowdfunding space by picking up the Cthulhu Death May Die IP and games from financially troubled CMON, a series which has raised almost 10 million from backers to date. The buyout of this co-op miniatures game comes 4 months after CMON sold its flagship IP Zombicide to Asmodee, stripping the company of a series which had raised more than 40 million on Kickstarter since its launch in 2012. CMON's sale of Cthulhu Death May Die is the latest move in the drive to battle the huge losses the business has chalked up in the past couple of years, and comes alongside the company announcing a new share sale worth 20% of its existing share capital in an attempt to raise money for the company. CMON posted losses of nearly 7 million in the first half of this year and another 3 million across 2024, figures which dwarf the overall 4.2 million profit it managed to make over the previous 9 years combined. Asmodee's buyout of the Rob Davio, Eric Lang, and Marco Portugal design is the second acquisition in its reignited strategy of buying up smaller board game publishers, distributors, and IPs, and follows the company bringing in David Preddy, the recently resigned COO of CMON, in May, the head of its newly launched crowdfunding and miniatures operation. So we'll end the article read there. Josh, I mean, what do we even have to say about CMON anymore? I mean, I know as we're recording this, this was the last day of Essen Spiel. It wrapped up
Yeah.
today, and they were there. I mean, they had a booth there. They were showing games off there, but you know, they've sold off Blood Rage, Rising Sun, Zombicide, now Cthulhu Death May Die. They've sold off Zombicide. Like, what is? Are they going to be anything that we even? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Like, do they? When this all settles out, if CMON survives, like, are
Yeah.
they even going to be recognizable as a company anymore?
I mean, no, they won't be the same. I mean, well, they'll be the same company in name, but it's not like they're going to be able to
Right.
produce, and they're not. No one's going to back them. Well, some people will still do it, but they're going to get a fraction of if they just try to go back to Kickstarter. Um, people who do their research will not back them, even if they're
Right.
not using "come on" as their name. They're gonna, it's gonna be something that follows everyone
Mm-hmm.
in that company, regardless of whose decisions led them to where they are. Like, if you worked for "come on," people are gonna hesitate.
Right.
I think for a while, unfortunately, but. I mean, if they can come back, good for them. I mean, it's a tough market and it's a tough thing to get caught up in all the Kickstarters and the shipping of it all and the delays. So maybe they just take this as a note and just stick to designing or just producing the games themselves. I don't know. I just think like it's a very like volatile is not the right word, but it's unpredictable business right now. The
Mm-hmm.
with the way the world is, so it just looks like it's just helping them along quicker because they seem to be on that path already.
Yeah. Well, and because I'm thinking, they still have obviously like Marvel United and DC Superheroes United, but
Yeah,
outside of that, I don't really know that they have any big IP really left anymore.
I think they sold it all. I don't even know. They had God of War for a minute. That went
Right.
away. Like a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff is just not with them anymore anyway. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think they have anything license wise besides that.
Yeah. And I mean, the good thing here too is that with this acquisition, Asmodee is now going to fulfill the
Oh
latest core box Forbidden Reaches that was, I think, maybe last December or something,
yeah,
that they had done. So that will still happen. That's still going to get fulfilled. But now it'll be coming from Asmodee instead of Come On. I do wonder if there'll be any changes as a result of that. Who knows? Um, Maybe it'll all be exactly the same. Maybe nothing will change or be adjusted. But you do have to wonder. Come On is just such an interesting story because it was this company who was one of the big board game manufacturers, right? Like they were one of the big companies, and suddenly just all the wheels have come off, and you just got to wonder what the problem was. Like where was the issue? Where was the money that they were raising going? Was it not?
yeah.
Were they not charging enough? Which seems asinine because all we ever talked about is how expensive
How
their games
expensive it
were.
is. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just kind of mind-boggling. But also, I don't understand business really, so I'm not going to say that there could be a very reasonable explanation. It just seems really weird from the outside.
yeah,
But we'll see what come on. It looks like 6 months from now, a year from now. I know that they're like we've talked about. They're going. The focus is smaller games, self-publishing. Going right direct to retail. So we'll see. What that may or may not do for them. All right, next story here. Man, it was maybe even a year more ago. We were talking about how um, Upper Deck was suing Ravensburger because of for copyright infringement because of Lorcana. You may remember that the designer of Lorcana, Ryan Miller, had been working on a game for Upper Deck, left Upper Deck, and then went to Ravensburger and worked on Lorcana and published Lorcana. And basically Upper Deck sued, saying like, "Hey, you took kind of ideas, property from us, and now have implemented it into this Lorcana game that at the time was hugely successful back in the summer of 2023 when this lawsuit originally came up." But hey, according to the folks over at ICV2, judge rules against Upper Deck in the Ravensburger suit. Upper Deck plans to appeal and pursue remaining count, and they're also suing in Europe. From the article, it says Ravensburger has won a round in Upper Deck's suit alleging copyright infringement and other torts, but Upper Deck has vowed to appeal, pursue the count that was not dismissed, and continue with a recent lawsuit in Europe over the same issues. The lawsuit, filed in summer 2023, alleged that Disney Lorcana TCG designer Ryan Miller took the designs of Rush of Icor, which he worked on at Upper Deck, to Ravensburger and incorporated them into Disney Lorcana. Earlier this month, the judge in the case granted summary judgment on all the remaining counts against Ravensburger, including copyright infringement, fraud, conversion, and unfair competition, and dismissed Ravensburger as a defendant. The judge did not dismiss the breach of contract claim against Miller, so that claim is progressing to trial. Ravensburger claimed victory, with Ravensburger's legal advisor Brian Lewis noting some of the specifics of the ruling. Judge Evanson found the evidence of this so clear that she determined no reasonable jury could conclude that Ravensburger had infringed any copyrights, he said in a statement provided to ICV2. She found an overwhelming lack of similarity between the games, and with respect to the few areas of similarity, these consisted of widely used trading card game mechanics that had been used for decades. She reiterated the well-known law that game mechanics are not protectable expression under copyright law. This lawsuit was without merit, and we feel gratified that the judge agreed with our reasoning. Not going to continue reading any more there, but Josh, what are your thoughts on hearing the judge be like, "Nah, Upper Deck, too bad, so sad. It's all good for Ravensburger."
Honestly, I'm so. I mean, this is like a normally boring story, just made it exciting because Disney's involved. But
Yeah.
what I did think was funny when I was reading this story yesterday, I think, whenever you sent it, um, the I'm thinking now, I'm a judge and I have to learn how to play Lorcana to decide how this lawsuit works. And then I also have to learn how to play Rush of Ecor
Right.
as well. Is that what the judge has to do to decide this? Because that sounds potentially awful for a judge who does not like board games or
Right.
card
Right.
games. And then, like, what else does this apply to? That's all I was thinking. It took me down a rabbit hole of what do judges have to learn when they have to decide on things like this?
Right.
And like, is it literally just them teaching them to play and letting them decide, or are they like watching YouTube videos, or are they just being told how it's played? Like, I'm more curious about that. I'm also more curious to know if you even knew that Rise of Icor launched because it's out. I had no clue.
It is out.
I haven't seen it anywhere.
I only knew it was out because when I put the show notes together, I was like, "Oh yeah, I wonder if that ever came out." And it definitely, you could buy it,
Yeah.
but
And the second set comes out in November.
what is also shocking is that if you go to the Rush of Icor board game geek page, it's like there's like nothing on it. Like
Yeah.
clearly no one is playing this game at all.
Also, if you look at the pictures, I don't see how AEG doesn't sue them for stealing the Mystic Veil
It
game
does kind of look.
mechanic,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can see
right?
that. Yeah. So it's
Just double
just
sue.
shocking. Yeah, just shocking. Um so on the Rush of Icor BGG page, there it doesn't have a rating because so few people have rated it. And it has like 9 pictures, but they're all just pictures of like the art and the deck boxes, like the
Yeah.
boxes that you can purchase. No actual pictures of like people playing the game.
If you go to the Upper Deck site, you can see the cards. And I would tell you that the art is very boring looking, which I wasn't expecting either. But I kind of almost want to just buy a box to try it
Just to see what it's like.
just to see. Um, but yeah, I feel bad for some of those people. I don't know. I don't know it's all hearsay from my point of view. So
Right.
if the guy was bad and stole the ideas for Lorcana, shame on him. If they're just mad that he left to Disney with some ideas, then shame on them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just put out good games. Don't worry about all that money you're going to lose. I'm pretty sure Lorcana is like hit a screeching halt also.
Yeah, I don't know that Lorcana has maintained the level of popularity anywhere close
No,
to what
and
it
they're
had
doing
when it
like
launched.
still doing like 7 sets a year or something. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, but no,
They-
absolutely. Yeah, it is very curious about there are things in Rush of Ichor like that infusion
yeah,
that they do. But also like it kind of does like this really weird um what's the word I'm looking for? Um how what was the card game where rather than buying individual cards you bought decks and all the decks were unique?
Oh, Keyforge.
Yeah, it was like it's kind of like Keyforge in that you have like the two colored combinations for like all the
Yeah,
decks. So it almost even feels like that you have like this kind of Keyforge element to it as well. So yeah, there's nothing here that looks super neat, super new. It is putting different things together maybe for the first time, but I don't know that there's anything here that I've like never seen before.
yeah, agreed.
So yeah, but hey, maybe I should buy some of this to be one of the few who has it.
Yeah,
But all right, well, sorry, Upper Deck. It doesn't seem like that's going very well for you. We'll maybe come back to the board game topic if we have time. We'll see how things go.
sure.
Okay. Because I know this other stuff might take a little bit of time. Because I know you have
Maybe.
feelings. So moving on to some
I'll
video game
behave.
news. What's that?
I'll behave.
No, you don't have to. That's why we do a podcast. Moving on to some video game news. Halo is coming to PlayStation. But Josh, the question is, do they deserve it? This from Game Informer. Halo campaign evolved, coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC. Remakes Halo's one story with new content. So sometimes to look forward, you need to examine your roots. Following 2021's Halo Infinite, Halo Studios, previously 343, is doing just that with Halo Campaign Evolved, a full modern remake of the most beloved and influential games of the 21st century. Halo Campaign Evolved takes the original Master Chief adventure and fully remakes it in Unreal Engine 5. Cinematics have been completely redone, voice acting re-recorded with the original principal cast, and the combat is snappier than ever before. And for the first time ever, Halo is also coming to PlayStation, complete with cross-play and cross-progression. Additionally, two-player split-screen co-op remains intact, while 4 players can attack the story missions together. Another for this trailblazing title. So, Josh, you obviously are someone who has been a staunch Xbox supporter for a very, very long time. You know,
Yeah,
we had 2/3 of the big three already on PlayStation. Gears was on PlayStation. Forza was on PlayStation. And the question was, when is it going to happen to Halo? And it seems like in 2026, it is going to be Halo's time to come to PlayStation. What are your thoughts? But first, I want to say Halo Campaign Evolved is both clever and stupid.
it's stupid that is the title of a game.
Yes,
Like
that's
that's
why I
on
think
the
yes.
box art of a game.
Yeah, I think it's kind of clever of like the like continuing the CE thing, but yeah, the fact that that is literally the title of it is kind of stupid. So
I hate it. It's so stupid. Uh, but I'm biased because I hate it. I'm irrationally upset about this.
tell me more, sir. Tell me more.
I don't even know. I think I'll have our conversations this year. I think it's kind of danced around this potentially happening, although I didn't
Yeah,
really see it coming. I
yeah,
honestly didn't think it would ever happen.
hmm
And that's really part of my irrational anger.
sure,
Because I should have seen it coming because I see where this is going.
yeah,
Um, and I'm just in denial, is really what it is. I don't want
hmm
it to be going this way. I'm very disappointed. Uh, it's not like I feel like I chose the wrong team to back up. I get a
yeah,
PlayStation, I get a Switch,
yeah. You do.
but I just put all of this effort in my life to promote this brand.
hmm
I've been with them like for the longest. I like you've been with with Xbox Live or whatever this many
Yeah,
years since it's existed.
yeah,
I haven't done that with very many other things like without
sure.
ever like taking a month off or whatever. Like there's just I put my loyalty in that and that's why I'm upset. I'm not and I'm also upset about the name of the game, but that's just because it's a
yeah,
stupid name. I'm not really upset about it. It's just very disappointing. It's disappointing as a fan of Xbox. It's disappointing as a fan of console exclusivity. I still think
Hmm.
it's a good business decision. I hate I kind of hate that it's going away. Maybe because I'm on the losing team, and that's why I feel that way. That not that they're losing, but I think I am losing. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm just sad about it, and I don't want to go buy Halo on PlayStation. I don't want to do it. How kind of like I didn't want to buy Street Fighter on Xbox for a very long time.
Right.
It was always Nintendo or PlayStation.
Hmm.
I wasn't playing Street Fighter on Xbox. So like I have these like weird loyalties even for like genres of games and consoles. So I'm not like saying just because Halo's going on PlayStation I'm mad. I'm like I don't want to play it on a PlayStation.
Yeah.
That controller is awful for shooters.
I don't know. I think it's great, but I
For
also have
me.
the Elite, so it's
Yeah.
it's fine. Uh, I so this is weird because right we I mean I don't think we ignore the outside world, but we don't specifically talk about like the outside world very often, right? About
Right.
things beyond gaming. We do to a degree, but it's not something we focus on too much. And I think in a time where like I think part of the reason that this is such a weird thing for me is that there was a time when, and this is definitely me being fortunate, sometimes the biggest concerns I had were like the console wars, right?
Right.
Like those were like the things that were like, oh my gosh, can you believe blah blah blah, right? Like that was like the things that like made us angry and the things that we were upset about. Um and the fact like it's almost like I kind of miss the ability to be like angry about things that don't really matter.
That don't matter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like
Yeah.
because there's so many things now that matter that I am more focused on, that I am more upset about and challenged by and working on, that like not having that stupid thing to be angry about is kind of like annoying, right? Like I really want to just like have an outlet to be mad at something that like actually doesn't matter, and that is kind of going away, right? Like the console
Yeah.
wars were they were dumb, like they were so stupid. Like, but it also like were some of like the best times we had. Like, that's how like you would rib each other as friends, and like you would do
Right.
these things, right? And like, so that thing kind of going away is like, okay, like it's just one more like showing like of how much time has changed in the last 15 years, right?
Yeah.
Like, um, I do think it was, especially with where things had been going, right? Like once Forza, once Gears, like it was inevitable, right? It was going to happen.
I didn't think so. I really didn't.
The only thing that threw me off slightly about it was the fact that Forza 6 is not releasing day and date on PlayStation. That kind of threw me
Right.
because I
Right.
thought that would like just be like Forza Horizon 6 or whatever it is. Like I
Yeah.
thought they're like, "Oh, that's coming later to PlayStation." I thought that would be like right away. Whereas this, they're like, yes, like this is coming to PlayStation 5 right away, and that Halo will always be on PlayStation moving forward. Like the
Right.
community manager was wearing a PlayStation shirt
I
at
know.
the Halo event talking about this, right? Like it is a shift. And I guess it's both like consistent and inconsistent. And maybe it's just a development situation where like for Forza, they just can't get it done. Like,
Right.
they need to focus on the other and that they want to get the PC done and they want to get the Xbox done, and then they'll worry about the PlayStation later. So maybe that, and maybe I don't even know if Forza Horizon 6 is on Unreal 5. I have no idea, but maybe having this be an Unreal Engine game makes it easier for them to release it on everything at the same time. Who knows? But it's gonna be weird. Like I really did think that like I've made jokes about like buying Forza, about buying Gears. I haven't
Yeah.
bought any of them yet on um PlayStation. I don't think I've bought any Xbox game on PlayStation yet. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So
they're all like games you've played before.
they are all games I've played before. That is true, and I have played this before. Will I buy it? I don't know. How much is it going to be? How much do you think this game's going to cost? Did they say how much it's going to be? They haven't said yet, have they? I
No,
wish listed it on
I mean
PlayStation
I
Store.
don't think so. I can't imagine it's more than $50.
But do you think the original Halo campaign is worth $50?
No. I don't because I own it 3 different ways from Saturday.
That's true. That's true.
So
And I
I've
also
played
have it
it. I've played
multiple
it
ways.
more times than I played most other games. Like I've done it.
But now it's evolved, Josh. The campaign has
I
evolved.
did play. I did play it Evolved. It's called Halo Combat
About
Evolved.
evolved. Yeah, that's true.
I already played it Evolved, and Anniversary Evolved, and
Hmm.
Master Chief Evolved. Like
Yeah.
Matt, Halo Combat Evolved has evolved a dozen times.
But Josh, there's 3 brand new prequel missions as part of
Yeah,
this.
so they're gonna mess the story up. It's don't do that to these games. Don't add more.
Hey, now Halo Studios storytelling is impeccable. They've done such a
Yeah,
good job with the story of the campaigns of all of their games that they've done.
that's what people know about Halo is the story. You probably can you could put 100 Halo fans in one room, and I bet you 50 of them don't know what the Flood are. Like, oh, what are they? Who's that in multi? Who's that in multiplayer? G-
Yeah,
Go away. Go play Call of Duty.
yeah. I guess the biggest shock for me is just that this. I mean, I know there was a Halo event. Like this just seemed kind of oddly
Dirty?
announced to me.
Oh, I was gonna say it feels dirty. It feels
Oh, I don't think
gross.
it feels that dirty. I don't know. I mean, my console won. What do I get? No, I'm just
Yeah, I know.
kidding. This just seemed really kind of like not. I don't know. I
No
figured this.
fanfare, just dropped a
Yeah, it
trailer.
just.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just seemed a little
because
odd.
Xbox is trying to sneak it under the rug. If they make it a big deal, they're gonna lose more fans.
I mean, they. I guess maybe not a ton
Can
of.
you imagine them doing a big event and it's an Xbox event for a PlayStation game? No, no, thank you.
I mean, Josh, when I go to the PlayStation blog, at the very top of the PlayStation blog, the
Oh
first
yeah,
story says Halo Campaign Evolved launches on PS5 in 2026 from Brian Sketch-Jarrett, community director at Halo Studios, and a whole story from him.
yeah. PlayStation's doing it right.
So, yeah. I mean, it is wild being on the PlayStation blog and just seeing all these gifs of Halo games.
Uh,
It's kind of weird. Oh, man. Kind of weird. Josh, it's a wild, wild world we're getting started in.
yeah, certainly is.
But, yeah.
It looks. I gotta say, I hate to say how good it looks. It looks real good.
It does look real good. It
It
really
looks
does.
real good.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks better than Craig did when we first saw Craig, that's for sure.
That's what PlayStation deserves. They deserve Craig.
We deserve Craig.
You get, yeah, you get Halo Infinite. You don't even get the first Halo. You get Halo Infinite.
I mean, I finished the story of Halo Infinite.
I
I
thought it was
have the
fine.
Halo. Yeah, I have the Halo Infinite Xbox Series X.
Yeah,
So,
it's a nice
but
Xbox.
it is a very nice Xbox. Well, Josh, it seems like I there are. I do wonder how they decide now moving forward, like what is day and date and what is later and what is not like at all talked about. Because, like for instance, right,
But
Keeper,
not, yeah,
nothing, right, absolutely nothing. As far as other like going, even like Switch 2, right, like that seems like a game that they would want in other places. Um, so that I find a bit curious that there really is just this still weird thing, and I do wonder if it's just a matter of time and resources for the studios more than anything.
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, so there's an interesting thing. So day and date is an interesting dilemma now because now not even Game Pass, all Game Pass tiers
Mm-hmm.
get day and date.
Yeah.
So there's potentially a scenario where a Xbox game, a Microsoft game, like let's say Fable,
Mm-hmm.
launches
Mm-hmm.
day and date on Xbox and PlayStation,
Mm-hmm.
and someone could pay for it on PlayStation and play it before someone who says Game Pass subscriber on
Yeah,
Xbox because they don't have
because they have
the
the
ultimate
$15
tier.
tier. Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's
What an
1,000% gonna
awesome
be
look
happening.
for Xbox.
Oh, they don't care.
No,
They
I
don't care
know
at
they
all because
don't.
they're getting the money from the person who bought it on the PlayStation, and the
Yeah,
person's still paying $15 a month, to subscribe to Game Pass.
$30
They
a
don't
month.
care.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, if they're not getting the day and date, then
yeah,
it's 15. So yeah,
yeah.
they don't care.
It's it's so bad. Boy, I hate it.
Well, hey Josh, more good news for Xbox. Because speaking of Xbox, they really hope this Halo remaster sells well. Because it sounds like there is some uh, pushing for profit. This is from Game Watcher via Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. I don't have a subscription to
Mm.
Bloomberg, so I gotta go to a place that used it as a citation. So sorry, Jason. It's no secret the Xbox brand is in trouble as it juggles in-house problems and is collaterally impacted by Microsoft's generative AI aspirations. That seems very much like some putting some opinion into a piece, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And relationships with Israel's military forces, again, something that should be talked about, but again, a bit more opinion. But the latest report from Bloomberg, Jason Schreier and Dina Bass go deeper into the financial pressures the gaming division has been put under. The average profit margin in the video game industry in recent years has ranged between 17 and 22%, according to estimates from S&P Global Market Intelligence. The hot report establishes before revealing Microsoft is asking for a 30% profit margin from its gaming division, which has been cutting jobs and entire projects left and right in a desperate attempt to optimize operations. A 30% or better margin is usually reserved for a publisher that's really nailing it. Neil Barbour, an S&P Global analyst, says, for those keeping track, the last time Xbox was leading the pack in the console wars would be the 7th generation, where the company led the charge with the Xbox 360 and followed up with a strong lineup of great multiplayer-oriented exclusives. Meanwhile, Sony was lagging due to the PS3's development-related struggles before picking up the pace. As for Nintendo, the Japanese giant was in its shaky Wii era, which led the
That's a
company finding
very
success
punny.
in an entirely different arena. Anyway, so Josh, 30%,
Yeah.
this huge push for profit. Now, I had some conversations with folks in the Discord
Yeah, you did.
that maybe I was being too nonchalant, right? That this 30% was coming from Amy Hood, who's the chief financial officer for Xbox, and I was like, oh my gosh, imagine that the person in charge of finances is asking for the company to make more money.
Yeah.
Surprise Pikachu face, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
of course, like
Always.
I am
More
I
money.
off the base by like not being surprised by this?
You're just talking to the wrong people.
Okay,
We have well, I don't want to slander anyone, but we have a very different Xbox audience now in our Discord,
we do.
and they're very anti Xbox last year Xbox. Like it's very, they can do no wrong. They love us. They're doing everything great.
Hmm.
And meanwhile, us old men are like, they've abandoned us. They don't care about us. They are making all the wrong decisions. So I'm not saying I'm right or they're wrong. I'm just saying there's dissent.
Yeah. I just was, I saw this kind of floating around, a lot of people being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing that. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like Microsoft is a software company, right? They provide software services to a ton of companies. Game Pass is ostensibly a software as a service for games.
Yeah.
30% probably is what they're asking for the rest of the company. So I'm sure they're probably asking for that from, Xbox as well. Maybe that's unreasonable. Sure. But I'm not surprised. Like, they
No,
also
I
just
think,
spent $70
yeah.
billion to buy Activision,
I,
like,
I think people get confused by Phil Spencer
yeah.
because he comes out and he's different than the other heads of companies because he's always like, we're here for you. You're the best. We love you. He's very over affectionate to his gaming audience. And I don't think that that's bad, but I don't think PlayStation's the same way. PlayStation's like, look at this cool thing we have. We want you to buy it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty, and Nintendo's the same thing. We don't want your comments. We don't even need you in the same room as us.
Nope.
Look at this cool thing. You're gonna buy it, and we're not even showing you the price.
Yeah.
So like, there's these, and I think Phil Spencer like confuses people. He's like your fun uncle. He's like that guy who's like super nice to you, and he tells you he's gonna take you to the Patriots game this weekend, but then he has to work. Sorry. Oh, I'll get you next time, buddy. Or he's like something like that.
Yeah. I feel like for a long time, I felt like I was like on a different planet because I've always found Phil Spencer to be a little skeevy. I have consistent. I'm like, the dude is like, he's a liar, or at the very least, he is telling you what he knows to be true now, but he's very confident it's not going to be true in the future, right?
Sure.
And that's not just him. It is like that Xbox division as a whole, right? They say things that you're like, but is that really what you mean, right? Like, how can I believe that like this is actually what you mean? Because then in a week or a month, like you totally change your mind, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing about like there was a report of like, oh, Xbox is like looking at ways to potentially get out of the console business, and then Xbox was like, no, we're not. And it's like, do we really trust you, Xbox, to have that
Right.
be not true? Right? Like maybe today you're not, but are you next week going to change your mind?
Yeah.
Like they just
Yeah.
really, I don't know. I not saying that it's better, but you're right. Nintendo and PlayStation are like, hey, aren't we so kind? We're going to give you the opportunity to give us money for this thing, and
Yeah.
you're going to like it.
Like
And
it's our
whereas,
business and you're our
yeah, right. Like,
consumer.
and that's it. They're like, we don't care if you like us. We don't care what you think about us. We're going to give you the privilege to buy stuff from us,
Yeah.
and you're going to do it.
We're
And we're
gonna
like, oh,
make you
okay.
give us an hour every month to watch random JRPGs that you'll never
Yeah,
play
right.
on a
Exactly.
stream just so you can catch a glimpse of Wolverine.
Yeah. And and Xbox is like, hey guys, we're here, we're cool, we're fun, you're part of us too. Woohoo. And we're
Here's
like,
all these games that might
yeah.
never come out.
Yeah. It's just so I don't know. And I always wish that PlayStation would have more personality like they did in the PS4 generation, right? They had
Yeah.
personality at the beginning of that generation. And it all went away. All the personality is gone from the brand. But they still sell stuff and we
Yeah.
still buy stuff. And I think in some ways it's because this might sound weird. It's because I know they don't give a rip. They don't
Right.
care what I think. They really don't.
No, and they
The
can't
only
because then
time they're
they'd
going to
be an
care,
unsuccessful business if they did.
yeah, the only time they're going to care is when I stop buying things, and then they're going to be like, "Hey, why'd you stop buying stuff?" And
Right.
I'll tell them, and they'll be like, "Okay, cool." And then they might try to fix it,
Well, I'll be
right?
curious what Xbox takes from this message next year when people stop buying Xbox games. Xbox consoles, at least.
Well, Josh, speaking of buying Xbox games, our next story from Video Games Chronicle, you can find people at VGC. More than 60% of U.S. game players only buy 2 games or fewer per year, survey finds. Only 4% buy more than 1 game a month, Circana's data says.
They didn't survey the
Um,
right people.
Market research company Circana's senior director Matt Piscatella shared data from its Q3 2025 Future of Video Game survey, specifically its data on purchasing frequency among players in the U.S. According to the data, 18% of players in the U.S. buy a new video game about once every 6 months, while 12% buy about once a year. The survey also found that 33% of players buy a new game less often than once per year, meaning a combined 63% of players buy 2 games or fewer every year. On the other end of the scale, 22% of players buy a new game around once every 3 months, while 10% say with 10% saying they buy one roughly every month. Just 4% said they buy more than one game a month. Commenting on the findings, Piscatella suggested those 14% of players who buy one game or more per month are mainly responsible for the continued trajectory of full price games. Hyper enthusiast, price insensitive players are really keeping things going, especially in the non free to play gaming space, he noted. Piscatella also pointed out that if these numbers seem unusual, it's likely because anyone who follows him already falls into that 14% bracket of players who buy a game or more per month, and therefore may not be aware of the bigger picture. Before replying, know that even seeing this post likely puts you into that hyper enthusiast bucket, so the actions of you and your immediate cohort likely do not match those of the general gaming audience, he explained. In a separate post, related to his point on hyper enthusiast price insensitive players, Piscatella suggested that the reason game prices are rising and deluxe editions are becoming more commonplace is because that 14% of players are less likely to worry about the cost of games, meaning most pricing is focused on them. Been talking about this trend for years when it comes to game spending, he wrote. Why are there premium gamepads, $149 collector editions, pro consoles, and general rising prices? Because the price insensitive affluent players are the ones doing more of the spending as everyone else shifts more free to play. Another report published by ComScore last year found that 82% of American video game players had made in-game purchase in the past 12 months, highlighting that while some players may not necessarily be buying a lot of games, they're still putting money into the industry, albeit through an in-game purchase in free-to-play titles. All right, so I read that whole article. Thanks, VGC, for that breakdown of what Matt Piscatella had said. Josh, when you heard this news, shocked, not shocked? Were you going to be like, this doesn't seem right, and then fall right into Matt Piscatella's trap of like, haha, if you're reading this, you're already in the hyper enthusiast, so your view is skewed. What were your thoughts?
I just I don't disagree with all of it. I think that I'd be curious if he actually surveyed like how many he surveyed, if he made it bigger. I don't think that you can base 14% on the cause of deluxe editions. Like, I don't know that gaming companies are focusing on 14% of people who do things. They're focusing on the 80% of people who do things. So they're not going to go out and what logic does that make to create a deluxe edition you might never sell?
Well, I think it does kind of make sense in the sense if you think of like, okay, if they're gonna, let's say that they're gonna sell, for ease of simplicity, like 100 games, right? And
Yeah,
they know that 90% of the people are gonna pay either regular price for the game, let's say $70, or they're gonna wait to get it on sale at $35, right?
right,
So they know that that's where like 90 of the games are gonna go, but they know that if they make 10 games that have a whole bunch of super special bells and whistles, that there are 10 people who will spend $150 for that game,
right.
right? So why not then have them buy the 150 version? Because then you're just making more money than if you just sold them, that was 10 people, the $70 version as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess my counter argument doesn't support this graph because my counter argument is for the people who are in the 14%,
Mm-hmm.
which is like if those people in the 14% see studios or games taking content out of a game to make it like a digital deluxe pack or stuff, then they start or like assume that that's what they did, not that they know that that happened.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, get this free mission for on the digital deluxe that you
Yeah.
won't get on the base.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think that that smaller group of people? Well, it wouldn't be that group of people. It would be a smaller group of people. It would be like a 2% group of people who overlap, will still buy it, but are also mad. The 1% of one person.
But Josh, didn't you
people,
just do
I
this?
people just see people listening. I crumble because I see your face. I crumble my theory because
But Josh,
Kyle is
you
giving me
just
the
did
look.
this because you just bought early access to Outer Worlds too.
I know. I'm not saying I'm not a hypocrite.
We're
I'm
all
not even
hypocrites.
saying
We're
I'm
all
not part of that
hypocrites.
group. But I think like if the messaging is that deluxe editions only exist because of this 14% of people,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I feel like it's a decision made before you know who those 14% of people are because you have a different base for different
Sure.
genres for different consoles.
Sure.
So yeah, I get that would work like as an example
Mm-hmm.
like survey, but I think it seems like a in my head a company is only making that decision for more content, which is more work for a higher percentage of people to buy it. But I'm also I don't relate to this at all because I'm off the charts.
Yeah.
I'm not unsurveyable.
Um, but I think that yes, sometimes it is content, right? Like sometimes it's like, oh, get this armor, in-game like outfit, in-game whatever. That took someone not no time to make, but probably not a ton of time to make, right? Like
Yeah,
how much you're paying for it, like when you get, X people paying for it, they're making way more money on than how long it took the person to make that armor. But also if you think about, those really fancy deluxe editions that come with like masks and like all that stuff and like maps and like all these like
yeah,
gadgets and trinkets, like that's not the game developers making that, right? That's the marketing team
right.
making
That's
that. So
marketing. Yeah, yeah,
so that's like a separate, that doesn't impact the development of the game in any way, shape, or form,
yeah.
in the sense of like completion of the game, or trying to have the developers of the game make stuff that other people aren't going to get. And a lot of the times too, it's like early unlock, right? It's not even like it's stuff that's not in the game. You just get it
Right.
sooner.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Or you just have to pay for it in the game.
yeah, or yeah. But I do know that there was one game I was looking at recently. It might have been Hell is Us, that if you get the deluxe edition, there is like a special mission in it. I don't know if with Assassin's
Uh,
Creed there was like a specific mission too, if you pre-ordered or in the deluxe edition, I don't remember.
yeah, I'm
Um,
thinking like too old, right? Because like Destiny had a whole planet that was exclusive to
yeah.
PlayStation.
And I think most people have gone away from that type of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
little thing here and there now. But yeah, it does tend to be like early unlocks, additional in-game like credits or like money or things like
yeah.
that. But it is hard because I know like we're definitely like in that 14% who's buying a game or more a month for the most part. I've been trying to be better about that this year. I've probably still in that ballpark, but I've also bought a lot of like indie games and like not full price retail games this year
Yeah.
compared to past years. So I think my buying habits, number of games I purchased, I think are probably similar, but the types of games I purchase have not been the same per se. Um, but we always have that kind of it is one of those really kind of curious things of how skewed our vision of the industry is when we talk about like the decisions that like Xbox is making or something like that, right? Like we have a very specific way that we see the industry from how much we participate in it, whereas average gamers probably couldn't really tell you much about. They don't even know that like Halo Studios is a thing, right? They think that Xbox makes
Yeah.
Halo or
As
Microsoft makes Halo or whatever, right? Like
yeah.
so yeah. But hey, we buy a lot of games. That's where it's at.
So many.
All right, Josh. As we move towards wrapping the show up, our final video game topic. This is something we used to do, and once we roll into the new year, I want to talk to you more about this in a different way. But um, put commitments for the last 2 months. I just want to do commitments for the next month. Now I know you just said that most of your time is probably going to be with Outer Worlds 2 and Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah.
But as we get towards the end of the year here, Josh, December's right around the corner. We're gonna have to make some decisions soon about like what our favorite games of the year are.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for is both you making a commitment to play a game, but then also you get to assign me one game that I have to play.
Okay.
And I will do the same for you, where I will make a commitment to a game that I want to play, but then I will assign one game for you to play.
Sure.
The game that you're assigned does not mean you have to finish it. Play as much
Yeah.
of it as you feel that until you got a good feeling for it, just so you can talk about it next month. But that way, then we'll both talk about kind of both games, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So I've given you no time. So I will start. I will talk to you about the game I'm committing to, and then I will assign you a game.
Okay.
The game I am committing to, and this is, I don't want to say it's a cop out, but I think this is the game you might assign me anyway. And it is a game that I definitely want to get back to, and I've kept putting off. I think if I push hard enough on Ghost of Yotei, I will have time to play this game. And that's Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I loved what I played of the game, and then I just stopped playing for some unexpected. I can't even explain why I stopped playing it.
Yeah.
And I was about to do something really cool. Like I very distinctly remember the time that I stopped. I was like, I don't have enough time to do this, and then I just never went back to it. So that is what the game I am committing to playing is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Okay. The game I'm assigning you to, Josh, is a game that we own on PlayStation that I've not told you we own yet, because it just came out recently. I'm guessing you probably do not have this game. I think you might like you might hate this game too, but we'll see. It is a card battling RPG called Battle Suit Aces.
Okay.
It's from the people who made the game. Oh gosh, what was the game? Battle Chef Brigade that came out on the original Switch, like in like 2018 or 2019, maybe.
Yeah.
This is, I think, their next game. They haven't released a game since then. It's reviewed very, very well. It just came out like couple weeks ago. But Battle Suit Aces, we have it on PlayStation. That is the game that I would like you to play. You like card games.
Yeah.
This is a pretty anime game. So we'll see if you like it, but that's the game I'm asking you to play is Battle Suit Aces.
Okay. Great. I can do that.
Awesome.
Okay. So I guess, the game I will commit to myself is Outer Worlds 2.
Nice.
That's an easy one. I can do that.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
The game I'll assign to you is actually a game that my wife has been playing, and we own it on Xbox.
Okay.
So you own it. And that's Spirit of the North 2.
I actually have it downloaded, but I haven't started it yet.
I'm picking this for you because you love animals, and
I do love animals.
Foxes, and I'm curious, your experience, because I don't want to say anything about it, but I'm watching my wife play, and I don't know how many hours she's got put into that thing, but it appears to be a very non-linear game.
Okay.
And I'm curious if that's because I'm watching my wife play, or if that's true and she's just missing a lot. But that's my thought.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so these are not like accurate because the number of people playing this game is so small. But on How Long to Beat for Spirit of the North 2, it says the main story is 6.5 hours, but the main story plus sides is 26 and completionist is 44.
Okay, that sounds like more likely what she's doing. I think she's going completionist.
So, okay. No, yeah. Like I said, I legitimately have this downloaded on my Xbox right now. Because I was like, oh, I really do want to play this. So that's
Cool.
perfect. I will play Spirit of the North 2. You will play Battlesuit Aces and Outer Worlds 2. I will play Spirit of the North 2 and Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Nice.
And we'll report back on all of those games in November.
Yeah,
All right, Josh. What do you say we move towards wrapping this show up? Does that sound good?
I think that sounds great.
Awesome. Well, hey, everyone, we are clearly the gaming podcast, but we want to give you one other thing that we're currently into that's helping us live a well-rounded life. Josh, what is your recommendation for folks this month?
Well, my recommendation isn't for everybody. It's a trepidatious recommendation. But with Halloween being this week, as you're listening, if you're still looking for scary movies, spooky movies, whatever, Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back is on HBO Max streaming. It is the second movie from the Philippou brothers who did Talk to Me. So this is their follow up. And it stars Sally Hawkins, that people might know from Shape of Water. She did some other things that I don't think I've seen. Um, and yeah, it's kind of nuts. It's it's scary. It's hard to watch at some points. It's a very challenging movie. It's very hereditary coded, as the kids would
Mm,
say these days. And it's just for these guys to have this follow up Talk to Me for first time directors is they knocked it out of the park. Uh, it's just like a masterpiece of horror. Uh, I don't want to spoil a single thing. But I really, if you've seen trailers and stuff, you have a general idea of what the movie is. I really didn't uh, see this in the full picture that it really is. I had no idea where it was going, so
mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that as well. But I watched it at midnight. I don't suggest doing that in my living room by myself. One sleepless night. That was probably contributed to my feelings a little bit.
Okay.
But it's not jump scary. It's not like anything like that. It's just kind of visceral horror
Mm-hmm.
and uncomfortableness. Some of the worst type of horror, in my opinion. Uh, but it was great, very well done, and they are working on Talk number 2, Me, now currently, so they'll be doing a follow up to Talk to Me.
Mm,
I believe it's a prequel though, so it's not. I don't think it's a follow up per se.
gotcha.
But yeah, Bring Her Back, HBO Max. What about you? You got a scary recommendation?
I don't. I do not have a scary recommendation. I have kind of actually two recommendations. I just wrote down one, but I have been perusing my Apple TV Plus, which is now just Apple TV. They got rid of the Plus,
Oh,
which is kind of confusing because the device is an Apple TV, but then also you watch Apple TV on Apple TV. But anyway, um, so I have two recommendations for shows that are currently on Apple TV. One is a ongoing docu-series called Knife Edge. And what Knife Edge is, it's about restaurants that are trying to earn Michelin stars. So it follows restaurants in different. The first episode takes place like in New York. The second episode is Chicago. Or actually, 1 and 2 is New York. Then they go to Chicago, and then they go to like the Nordic countries. And they're just like talking and following certain restaurants as both either chefs try to earn their first Michelin star, or potentially if they already have one, trying to earn their second or third Michelin star, and kind of what that experience is like who are the Michelin inspectors who are like super top secret, like no one really knows who they are. How do restaurants try to figure out like who they are so they can provide them the best service? why is this weird Michelin guide the thing that tells us what the best restaurants in the world are? Why does that come from a tire company? Like all these weird things.
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting, if you like and are interested in food and the role restaurants have in the world. Knife Edge, Chasing Michelin Stars is pretty well done. The host is fine. I'm not huge. Jesse Burgess is the host, and he does a fine job. But the chefs are really interesting. The experiences they go through is really interesting. You can see how important it is to them. The only downfall is that it is still an ongoing release every Friday. So the whole episode or the whole series is not out yet. So if that's something that bothers you, you can just wait. The other show that I'm going to recommend is a drama that I have been meaning to watch for a long time, and I finally just jumped into it because the 5th season is ongoing, but I've never watched any of it, and that is Slow Horses, which is also on Apple TV. Stars Gary Oldman as kind of and Jack Lowden are like kind of the main two characters. About basically it's kind of following a dysfunctional team of MI5 agents who get if they do something where they mess up, they get kind of put in Slough House, and that's kind of like where these agents are. So it's kind of like the misfits of the MI5 and like how do they help or contribute to cases that are going on. Every episode is about an hour. Each season is only like 6 episodes.
Oh, nice.
So it is pretty short
like
as
a
far
British
as like
series.
yeah, so typical British series as far as that goes. But the episodes are really well acted. The acting is very good. The writing is very good. And though I'm only partway through season 1, in talking to people that who have watched the entire show, they say that the beginning of season 2 is a little rocky, but that like overall season 1 is like the worst season and it's still really good. So and then it apparently gets much, much better going forward. Season 5 is currently like being released like on its weekly release dates. I think it's should be wrapping up here. I think this week is the last one for season 5. I think there are 2 more seasons confirmed. I think there's going to be a 6 and a 7 still. But I think that this show just started in 2022 and we're on season 5 already. So it is like the seasons are coming pretty quick comparison to how most prestige TV is these days. But again, yeah, it is about 6 episodes per season. So but really good, really crunchy acting, really kind of just like that kind of like I just feel tense like a lot like while I'm watching it, but it's very, very well done. So if you're looking for a heavy drama and just looking for something out there, Slow Horses, like I said, I'm only partway through season 1, but I already highly recommend. So
nice.
All right, Josh, what do you say we wrap this show up?
Sure, let's do it. Thanks for joining us, everyone. In addition to finding us on Instagram at Board with VG, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Board with VG. So feel free to give us a 5-star rating over there. Also, if you want to communicate in the more long form or you're just not feeling social media, please feel free to email us at boardwithvg@gmail.com. I'm just going to skip right over the hashtag part.
Do it.
Whatever podcast service you're listening to us on, we encourage you to give us a stellar rating. That is, whether you're downloading us from the Dice Tower Network feed or our very own standalone Board with Video Games feed. I will say, in lieu of my plugs, I was thinking about this the other day. I do want to make a push to get us back a little bit more visible on social media, so I'm going to work on that next month in December. Just from like when we started doing this, we would do like Facebook and Instagram posts, and we would do weekly shows, and it would just be like pictures of what we talked about and stuff like that. So I don't think I'm there yet, but I want to get back to a little bit more presence. So that's my focus, which means I get to take like Instagram off of my phone for myself, just so I have ours, so I don't have to swap between profiles back and forth. Kyle, where can people find you if they want to?
So you can find me on Instagram, PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Board Game Geek, all at Cyclocross, CYCOCROSS. As always, if you have suggestions for future topics, be sure to reach out to us on social media or email, because we want to talk about what you want to hear about. And remember, everyone, whether it be board games or video games, never stop gaming.